Hey everybody, welcome back to the CAF Plus channel. It's a wonderful Tuesday evening. We're going to be doing a auction preview for Comic Connect's 60-second event spectacular. And as you just saw from the intro, we've got not some new guy Harry will be joining us again, so it's going to be a good show. We also want to welcome back everybody from the chat. Mr. Redjack and I have had a few emails of late, and he's had some really great feedback on some stuff that we've been doing around here. And he's always in the chat before most everyone, reminding you to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel and be mindful of each other. So thank you for that, Brian. I always appreciate it. So let me bring the two gentlemen of the hour who will be guiding us through this wonderful tour of a 200+ lot auction that you guys have on tap for us. It's ending. When is it ending? It's ending Thursday.
So we changed our auction schedule a little bit. So instead of art ending on Monday, art will be ending on Thursday. Give everybody a few extra days to mull over their bids. So which is why we're not doing this show last week like we normally would. And instead of the session starting to close at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, it's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So check it out an hour earlier. That's your alarm.
So is this a strategic decision, or just something that fit better with the schedule? Or
I think it was. I think that as far as moving art to the end, the decision was made to start the auctions on Sunday, run the auction Sunday to Thursday instead of Monday to Friday. Yep. And then we decided that it was maybe better instead of doing art on Sunday to do run the comics in the first 4 days and art on the last day instead of art on the first day and comics for the rest. So there are comics ending right now if anybody wants to go look and bid on comic books, or you can hang out here and look at tomorrow. That's fine too. The main reason for this, we had a lot of people saying, hey, I don't want to bid on Fridays. I want to go out and have dinner or go see a movie or something like that. So this keeps us free and clear of Friday, and that way people don't have to choose between going out.
Sure.
And the results on the Sunday session of comics were strong, so seems to be all good.
Well, Sundays always used to be like the day when eBay would sell most of their stuff, right? It was Sundays used to be a really great day for auctions.
When I do stuff on eBay now, I still do them on Sundays. So.
Right. That's what I always, I haven't sold anything in there in a while, but that's the way I always did it too. Sunday was the day. So no, that's great. It's good. That's the right way to do it.
It gives the art, 4 extra days, so 3 extra days, plus the day they have the closing day, which, it never hurts. It's a few extra days for people to get eyeballs on things that they might want.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good decision. We'll see how it all works out on Thursday. But so like I mentioned, you got 200+ lots, a lot of great stuff, very diverse set of pieces. I mean, when do you close the consignment period for an auction like this? I mean, how many weeks prior to the auction?
It's about, the like real hard. We try to get everything in about 3-4 weeks before the auction starts. Mm-hmm. The hard close is about 2 weeks before. Things can be added last minute, but it depends. And for the catalog, like the deadline for the catalog is well before the deadline for the actual auction. So for the catalog, like the next auction, which will be starting late August. I think the deadline for the catalog is sometime in early July. Late July, I think. The auction starts on the 25th of August, but the catalog deadline is the 21st of July, if I recall correctly. All of this information is available on our website. There's a calendar tab on the homepage that'll take you to the list of auction dates through the end of the year.
Yep. Now, whom should people contact if they have art to consign with ComicConnect?
They could contact me. They could contact Harry. That's Harrison K at metropoliscomics.com or Comics. Either one works. But Micah's email is the one that's on your screen right now. So if you're looking to write one down, that's probably the best place to look.
And you said Comic Art at ComicConnect is the other one?
No, it's Harrison K.
Harrison K. I'm sorry. I thought you had a generic catch-all for the Comic Art team.
Not as of yet.
Okay, well that works. So I got to ask. I mean, of the pieces that are in this set, I mean, which one intrigues you the most?
My favorite? Yeah, exactly. Favorite now, or you don't want to wait till we get to it?
Well, okay, we can wait. You can surprise
us now, but I keep it surprised. It's not necessarily the one that if you know the kind of things that I collect and the kind of things I like, it's not necessarily the one that's obvious. Because there is a Robert Crumb piece in this auction, which is exciting, but it's great, and I would, who would turn it down? But it's not my favorite piece. My favorite piece is an artist that you wouldn't necessarily expect it to be.
Okay.
Particular auction. But,
well, then I expect both of you to tell me when your particular piece comes up.
We'll keep people on their toes, keep people tuned in.
I don't think it's the Charles Schultz that's sitting in between you, though.
I mean, that's not my favorite. That would be more in line with the things that would be expected. It is amazing, which is why it's right here.
Oh,
and it's currently wildly inexpensive right now, which is upsetting.
Yeah, it looks like Reagan's excited about Snoopy here.
No, well, a lot of times pieces that size, it's a single Peanuts character, right? Seeing, getting.
It's uncommon for them to be multiple characters. Not necessarily rare. I've seen a few, but generally speaking, it's one character.
In this case, it's two large figures, but Woodstock is here, so really this is 3 characters. When often you just get.
I didn't even think about that. Okay, now that just adds another level of importance to that.
These historically sell for, I've seen these sell for, generally speaking, they're in the like 10 to 15,000 neighborhood. But I've seen, Snoopy as the Red Baron sell for $30,000, $35,000, and these are very, very desirable. So I expect people to get bidding on it.
Yeah, well, they only have
here asking if it comes with a COA. We've looked at this. We have really no reason to believe
it comes from a very, very reliable source.
Yes, and just looking at it, there's no real evidence. Looking at this, reviewing it, we spent some time trying to figure this out. There's no evidence that there's anything wrong.
And there have been enough of them that have sold publicly in other auction houses that the consistency is there. It's also for what appears to be a very, very simple drawing style. I defy you to try and draw Charlie Brown. It's incredibly difficult. It's like
give it a try.
Drawing Peppermint Patty's head with this confidence, because this is just like a black crayon or like a charcoal. So this isn't somebody who drew slowly. You can see in the break of the line how quickly it was drawn, and to draw this face that quickly and accurately is nearly impossible. It's why you can always tell when Schultz didn't draw Peanuts. If you look at the comic books, which is really the only thing he didn't draw, you can tell that he didn't draw it. It's deceptively simple. It's very difficult what he's doing.
He drew these characters every day for 50 years. Nobody else drew these characters that much, and you can really tell when you look at those drawings side by side.
Yep. No, I mean the signature is right. All the little things, the shading in the rock, the grass, that's all correct. So there's no reason to think. And so in the 60s, from the mid-late 60s through the mid-70s, he did a lot of in-person presentations. He would speak at schools and colleges, wherever, conventions, and he would oftentimes do drawings like this while he was talking. So that's why there are so many. He was a very in-demand speaker for a long time, and so I estimate this to be in that late 60s, early 70s time period. That's what the art looks like, to me, style-wise.
Sure.
And yeah,
he drew at those cartoonist association get-togethers and things like they all did, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, there's enough of those on the market.
There are, and again, the source that we got it from, I have no reason to question. It's not somebody who I would in a million years think was trying to deceive anybody.
Exactly.
So,
well, let's dive into this stuff. I want to look at some art.
All right.
And then I'm sure we're going to look at that one too. We're going to get to look at that one all night.
Yeah, we can dive headfirst into into the pretty great first piece.
So where are we starting? Right? Are we starting right at the top, right?
Yeah,
With the yep.
I got this one by me. This is the cover by Buscema and Palmer to Avengers 83, featuring the first appearance of Valkyrie. And before anybody jumps in, we know it is noted in the listing that in this issue, Valkyrie turns out to be Enchantress in disguise. But if you look at the costume, it is identical to all the later appearances of Valkyrie, the character who shows up in Defenders. It's the same character, just it's somebody else pretending to be her at first. But it's really just a fantastic cover. She's front and center here. She gets, top billing and Valkyrie and the Lady Liberators. It's just fantastic, perfect period. Buscema Palmer too, from 1970.
Mm-hmm. And this as an added bonus, because collectors love these things. This cover has never been in a collector's collection before, so it's not something that's changed hands ever, which is cool. For full disclosure, if you want to come back to the live video, yeah, take it out. I don't want anybody to be surprised. It is noted in the listing, but the art is here. This is all the original art. This is the background it's just like a blank board facsimile. It's not a real board, just to give it a little breathing room. Nothing permanent, nothing that can't be undone. It just gives it a little space so it doesn't seem so tightly cropped. But that was all original trimming from production, and we just thought it would look nicer with a little bit of border.
In all honesty, though, if this were mine and I were trying to figure out how to display it, I would probably take the background off and I would float it in a frame.
But that's up to whoever ends up being the owner of it in a couple things. But yeah, the paste ups are all original. Everything's original. Just the backing is like a facsimile blank board. Nothing real crazy. But it's pretty great. You got a lot of Avengers. You got a very, very strong. This is what, 1970.
Yeah.
Little women's liberation thing going on here, which let's not talk about how the story actually ends and how that works out for them. But that's because it was still 1970. Let's not forget. But hey,
you see that Alberto's lamenting that Cap isn't on the cover, but if he was, he'd be knocked out, Alberto. So that wouldn't be anything.
Was he in the Avengers at this point? Not in the corner box.
I think he won by the Kree-Skrull War, which is only like a year later. I'm not real familiar with 1970s Avengers. I missed those.
But it's pretty cool. It was exciting when that came into the office.
Heck yeah, it is a gorgeous cover.
Yeah, and if it walks like a Valkyrie and it talks like a Valkyrie, it's a Valkyrie. So Enchantress, Enchantress.
Exactly. Nobody could trust Valkyrie for a while after this issue, right? I mean, come on, she comes in, she looks the same. It's tough.
Not comic book.
Exactly. You suspend some belief, at any rate, where are we going to from here? We got Michael Turner, right? There's been some Turner pieces pop up on the market lately, but this is a beautiful one. The Civil War cover.
When this was even potentially offered to us for auction, yeah, it was like, whoa, wait, that one? Like that's pretty great.
I saw this, and being the young guy on the team, we were on our way to C2E2, and we were in the cab just looking through the various pieces that were being offered, and we saw this one, and my jaw hit the floor. I read Civil War when I was like 7, and this is the image that I remember.
How's your age feeling, Bill?
Yeah, I don't think I got through Civil War, but yeah.
Harry makes me feel old every day.
Well, that's what you are old, Micah.
Thanks, Bill. But with it's nice. This was printed from these pencils. It was printed as the pencils, so there's the regular color version of the cover where the pencils were digitally darkened. but there's also a virgin variant where it's just printed as these pencils. So it is printed in this form, which is a nice little bonus.
I think I came in on the right piece. Hey guys, how are you?
Long time no see, Vince. How you been?
When we do this show on a night when there's an auction actively ending.
We just finished another great session, last session of the American comics. Tomorrow we have foreign comics, and then of course on Thursday the original art. And we put together a banger of an auction with, I'm sure you guys have seen a ton of the pieces.
We've seen three.
Oh, so you started. Yeah. You know, I saw that and then I thought, this piece is just absolutely spectacular.
And I think its current price is reflective of how strongly people think of it.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of interviewing Michael Turner back in the early 2000s, and he was such a sweetheart of a guy, incredibly intuitive and bright in his interview, and gave such wonderful answers. If anybody wants to listen to that interview, just go do a Google search, Comic Zone Radio, Michael Turner, and it'll come up. We're going to be remastering this, so you'll be able to, hopefully by the end of the week, listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music, you know, anywhere that there's a music aggregator. Having said that, he had just beaten cancer, and you know the future looked great. And then of course the cancer came back, and we lost a really fantastic artist and a really great guy. You don't see a lot of his artwork out there. I have several favorite pieces. One of them is the Flash cover he did years ago with this incredible kind of electricity around the Flash. But when I saw this piece and we were offered this piece on consignment, I was blown away, because you know, you think about how important Civil War is, and look at that cover, the Iron Spider-Man. Is it the issue where Spider-Man like outs himself?
I think it's shortly after. I think that was 2. This is 3. But Alberto, if you're paying attention, this down here is Cap's shield at the bottom.
Shield, Alberto.
This is the issue with the very memorable Spider-Man versus Captain America fight, where Spider-Man beats Captain America really for the first time in an alley after this parade or something. It's been a while since I read it, but it's a very, very memorable fight, and this is the image sort of teasing that scene.
The Iron Spider costume debuted in Civil War?
Shortly before, I believe.
So early Iron Spider. Is that the first Iron Spider cover?
Yeah.
But it's the first unbelievably awesome Iron Spider cover. So
Drawn by
this is
Mr. Turner.
we're just thrilled to have this, and we're expecting a lot of really big, aggressive last-minute bids on this piece. I just wanted to come in and say hello, guys. I've been at it all night with customers, bidders, and as we do here at ComicConnect. And I want to thank everybody for supporting us in our previous auctions. And of course, Bill, thank you so much for giving us the coverage here. You guys are in great hands with Micah and Harry. You're going to talk to you about some fantastic pieces, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I have, seeing all the pieces come in and curating this amazing ComicConnect original art auction. Thank you all, and have a fantastic night. Gentlemen, I leave it in your hands. Geez, that Avengers 83. Mind blown.
So the phone lines are closed for the evening.
I wish we had like a door knock sound effect. We could have done.
What's that? Who's here now?
Here, I want to zoom in on that. There we go. So we can show Alberto the Cap shield right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cap lost that battle.
Really?
He should.
No, well, we're taking the Cap versus Spider-Man fight.
Well, that was what I think made that issue so memorable, was that Spider-Man won that fight, which, you know, was kind of surprising to both him and to Captain America. You get both their narration and their respective titles. I remember that being done really well with Civil War, where they would redo scenes in different titles, and you would get different perspectives on the same fight.
Well, very cool. So, like you said, it's over $20,000 already on this one. So there's it's the Turner effect and the Civil War effect, and it's all pencils too.
To speak more about where Vince was started talking about, like, I only met Turner once, and it was at a Diamond Retailer conference, and he was very patiently sat there, very politely signing autographs for a bunch of degenerate comic book dealers. So good for him.
Yeah, I only saw him twice. I never got a chance to talk to him. He was
Really nice, and he doesn't have to be there at a retailer conference signing books that they're giving away to retailers that they're 100% going to sell. I mean, I know I sold mine, so I wish I hadn't. Honestly, I didn't think it'd be the only time I ever met him. But it's sad. Comics. Like you feel like you know these people, even if these artists, even if you've never met them or you met them just in passing at a convention. They feel like people through their work. So when a Tim Sale goes, or a Butch Geis, or a John Cassidy, it's like you feel it more than you think you might, just because it's like these aren't necessarily people that I'm friends with or not family, but you feel the loss. Especially when
magazine back then did a lot to kind of make you feel like you knew the creators a bit more than you might have otherwise. So yeah, no, it's very, very true.
Right, and especially when somebody is young, and then it feels tragic.
Yeah, it was.
On that cheery note.
Yes. Where do we go from here?
Let's talk about that. Next, is this Nick Cardy? Herb Novik. I'm sorry, it's not Nick Cardy. It's Herb Novik.
This has happened several times since we've had it in the office.
So yeah, Herb Novik. It's a great Brave and the Bold cover. Batman and the Teen Titans. This is Infantino layouts and Novik finishes, or
Novik pencils.
Yeah,
we think that this was all Novik on this board here.
But then you can see that it's a very Infantino-y design.
Even in the faces, and you can see the remnants of Infantino's design work.
But great Batman figure, and then
it's a little glary.
Sorry about that. Yeah, great Batman figure, great all four of the Titans, Robin, Wonder Girl, Speedy, and Kid Flash, and Batman's son.
Yeah, there's another one of those great, silver, bronze type titles. Punish Not My Evil Son, just incredibly over the top, like you would expect of a comic from this time period, and just a fantastic layout and execution on this cover.
Yeah, really good ink work by Novik. An underrated artist, but a beautiful, late silver HTC cover. Really fantastic.
Oh, I agree. I like Novik's work a lot. And only Batman can lay a hand on his son, not Robin.
Right. Batman can put his hands on whoever he damn well pleases.
Yes, very true. Hey, so are both of you going to be at Heroes?
We will both be at Heroes.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're driving to Heroes, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bigger inventory than we've had at Heroes in the past.
We have more art because we're driving. We can bring more art than we normally bring. Way more books. We're gonna have a real full setup of books. A lot of raw books for people who care about that. It'll be a nice and it'll be the ComicConnect and Metropolis booths will be next to each other but separate.
Yeah, I'll be over at the Metropolis booth with another guy named Chris, who some of you may have met, and then Micah will be.
I'll be 5 feet away at the ComicConnect.
I'll be sure to stop by both booths while I'm there.
They are right next to each other.
It is actually one booth that we split in half, so we noticed it. Yeah.
It's a good thing you all get along.
Yes. Well, we got to sit in a car together for a long time.
So by the time you get to the show, you never know.
Vince will be flying. It's good to be the
It is. It definitely is. First class, I'm sure. So
honestly, it's North Carolina, so I kind of hope not. Got to sit in first class for an hour and 40-minute flight, but that's okay. All right. Let's move on to George Perez.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
This is New Teen Titans number 14. This is Who's the villain on this piece?
It's Mento.
Oh, right.
So if you remember the early days of Beast Boy, he was a Doom Patrol member who was adopted by Elastigirl and Mento, and so here's Mento again attacking the Teen Titans and Robot Man down in the corner.
Robot Man.
So great sort of merging of the Teen Titans and the Doom Patrol here, who've always kind of operated in the same sphere. They sort of overlapped again during the Jeff Johns run. And a great cover, inked by Giordano, which is not typical for Perez at this period, and I think it's a really sympathetic pairing.
No, I think it's a nice cover. I think I like it's got the whole team on it. I love these like mid-action sort of like cliffhanger-y covers. This is like great. It's like, oh my God, how is the Teen Titans going to get out of this predicament? I think, you know, and I love Beast Boy because I love the Doom Patrol. So I think it's great. Is that signed by Len Wein? Or is it just
As the
editor? Signed by Perez. No, it's
and
great.
signed in the image by
Well, yeah, of course,
and Giordano.
of course. No, this is cool. You know, you don't see these Perez Titans covers all that often, and I think this is a great one.
And it's relatively early. It's the 14th issue of the first run, not the second one, so it's less than 2 years into the series of
1981. It's really early.
I was buying these at the newsstand.
Skipping ahead a little bit, just because we're on Perez Titans, we also have a Perez Titans interior. This is from Titans 21, also first series, 1982. It's a nice cyborg page by Perez from Teen Titans.
A friend of mine was actually talking just the other day on Twitter about how great Perez's storytelling was, and he used a couple of pages as examples. And I had to stop. I was like, wait a minute. And one of the examples was this page. And I think you couldn't have picked a better one for examples of how Perez was able to stage conversations and characters to really get the story and the emotions across.
On a page with 9 panels in an untraditional layout, which I appreciate.
Yeah, just a really sort of inventive page design.
It's one of the Perez and, you know, guys like Matt Wagner in the 80s really pushed layouts and the number of panels that was generally considered acceptable. So you'll see Perez Titans pages with 12, 13 panels on them. And I think, you know, storytelling, there's rules, and then there's reasons why you break those rules. And Perez was good at knowing when you didn't necessarily have to play by what people thought were the rules of how a page should be laid out. And because generally speaking, 9 panels is not untraditional, but 9 panels in this particular layout is. And I appreciate experimental storytelling. No, but, you know,
There was a lot of things to like about the early Teen Titans run, and certainly Perez's art and his design choices with page layout, his covers. I mean, all of that just lent to. I mean, again, I wasn't a DC guy. I didn't know anything about the Titans, but I read it because they were just fantastic.
that's the guy that drew Avengers.
Oh man, but yeah, very nice page.
So Jack Kirby, another Journey into Mystery 86 page, 4th appearance of Thor. The top tier is spectacular. You got Thor spinning his hammer some more, and then whooshing into the air after some missiles. This is like a training exercise. They're kind of testing Thor's powers. It's early, again, very, very early Thor. So this is, you know, really great Thor action. You're flying with the hammer, with everything. It's just the spinning of the hammer and then taking off is just a great sequence.
On the back of the page, actually, there's a little doodle by Kirby.
I think there's a scan of it on the listing if you want to pull that up.
But
It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's cool.
It's not the most finished drawing, but it's really loose and gestural. But it's Kirby trying to figure out how to draw Thor flying with the hammer. Because this is so early that would not have been set in stone yet how all of this stuff looked on the page. And I think it's very cool to see that experimentation.
Go back to live, you can see it. So you got some bonus Kirby drawing.
And recognizably Thor with the hammer.
Yeah, down. So it's the missile. missiles shooting up here, and this is Thor with that, the hammer here, whooshing around, which is neat. And it's got all the trademark Kirby smudges on the back. Well, like every Kirby page, it's a little insider's tip for everybody if you didn't already know it. Kirby, because he drew on the same drawing table for his entire career, pretty much every page he ever drew has the same sort of rough marks on the backs. They're little sort of like scalloped, sort of like curves on the back of pretty much every Kirby page you'll ever see. That's a great way to know if the page was lightboxed by somebody else or not. Because that way you know that piece of paper was on Jack Kirby's artboard. Thank you for not getting a new desk, Jack Kirby.
It was really filthy. He never cleaned it, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I love that page, of course.
I think it's fantastic. And the last page we had from Journey 86 that I don't think was as good as this one, I sold for something like $41,000.
Yeah, 41 and change.
And I think this page is stronger. I think it's a better Thor page than that. And that was a good page too. But this one's got more Thor action in it than that one did. It's great.
It's been really nice having a few of these come through here, just seeing like the beginnings of this classic Marvel history. I mean, Thor's in the movie.
I mean, the Journey 86 was it 1963? 62. I mean, it's as early, as Marvel artwork really gets. You don't see a ton of stuff that's that early. It predates Avengers 1. It's right around the same time. It's like, it predates the X-Men, it predates Daredevil, it predates Iron Man, does it predate that?
I think Iron Man was 63.
So it predates Iron Man. You've got, at that point it was really just the Hulk and the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man. It wasn't, this is the very beginnings. It's 63 years old. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Now I feel old again.
Retired.
It's older than me.
Phew.
I'm falling apart.
Yes, I was. I wasn't born for another 6 years, so I did not buy that off the newsstand like Marcus suggested.
Just another Kirby, real quick, while we're here. This is Strange Tales 144. This is Kirby Labs and Howard Purcell and Mike Esposito finishes. But this is a cool little page from the first appearance of Marvel Cinematic Universe star Jasper Sitwell. So one of the Shield, was he?
He was the young Shield agent who very by the book. Kind of the Wilbur from Archie Comics of the Shield world. But an enduring character, became a co-star of Iron Man for a long time as Iron Man's Shield liaison, and then showed up in the movies, memorably betrayed Shield for Hydra in Captain America's Winter Soldier. And this right here is a page with him on it in every panel, nearly every panel, from his first appearance.
Yeah, so, which is cool. I mean, it's Jasper Sitwell, but it's still cool. He's a memorable character. And then you got some Howling Commandos on this page. It's
relatively early Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. story.
Yes, also this is 60,
the 10th Nick Fury story or something like that.
66. So keep staying with the early Marvels. This in most auctions, this would be my favorite piece in the auction.
It's testament to the quality here.
Yeah,
not the best one.
If somebody wanted to buy this and give it to me as a gift, I would accept it because it's amazing. But this is Steve Ditko. This is from Tales of Suspense number 48. This is Ditko, who only drew three issues, three Iron Man stories. So this is the first one. This is the first issue that features Iron Man in his red and gold armor. So the armor that everybody thinks of when they think of Iron Man. This is the first time, and you got great images of Iron Man with and without the mask on. You could even see in the pencils them kind of working out the costume, which I think is great. Something you would never know without seeing the original. Just fabulous Ditko work. I mean, this, the Iron Man in the background of the first panel was just, that may as well be Peter Parker in the back. It's great. And I mean, there's a lot of, the second panel is very Spider-Man-y too. It's really beautiful work by Ditko, inks by Dick Ayers, signed by Stan Lee down at the bottom. I mean, I love everything about this page. It's my favorite version of Iron Man's costume is this very first Ditko version with the pointy mask. I love it. I have an action figure of this costume. I don't have a lot of Iron Man action figures. I have one.
Iron Man is one of my favorite Marvel characters, and these early Iron Man are some of my favorite Marvel comics. So being around this page has just been very cool. And it features one of my favorite things to exist on any Iron Man page, which is Iron Man plugged into the wall. That's the best thing about those early comics, is that he just goes to his room and plugs himself into an outlet. It's fantastic, and it's right there on this page. It's just excellent.
I love the mask half up with the great Tony Stark faces. Yeah, again, 1963, very early. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I agree.
Stick with our.
But this isn't your favorite, but just making
Not
sure.
my favorite. Not my favorite.
All right, it'd be my top 5 from this auction.
It's in my top 5. It might be my top 3, but not if somebody said you can have one piece from this auction and value was irrelevant, because value, not the one I would take. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
All right.
Sticking with first appearances, this is a pretty cool one and timely. This is Green Lantern number 59. So this is Gil Kane, and this page is the first in-story page featuring Guy Gardner, future Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, seen here, down here, being given the powering by Abin Sur it's set up here as a what if Hal Jordan didn't get the powering situation. But Guy Gardner, as I think pretty much everybody knows, is he stuck around, famously stuck around, and will be making his feature film debut in like a month. Tickets on sale tomorrow, apparently. I'm paying attention to that because I very much want to see that movie. But so yeah, Guy appears on the cover and he appears on the splash page. Neither of those are in story. So this is page 7. This is the first page in story that Guy Gardner appears on as what does he call them? This school teacher, Guy Gardner. So it's funny to think of Guy Gardner as a school teacher because
He's the physical education instructor.
Fair enough. But my Guy Gardner is, I wouldn't want the Guy Gardner that I grew up with, I wouldn't want anywhere near children.
No, not at all. Let alone in a kid's locker room. But
no. Well, I would be more worried about that version of Guy Gardner in a women's locker room.
Yeah.
We're talking very specifically about the 80s Justice League Guy Gardner. Who's he's Guy Gardner, but I hope that's the version of Guy that's in the movie, and that's the guy that I hope he gets clocked on the head. That'd be hilarious. I want that brought to life. I want for lack of a better word, asshole Guy Gardner, like bonked into this, like sweet happy Guy Gardner. That would be funny to see in live action.
I'm looking forward to the Superman movie.
Me too. Again, I want to buy my tickets because I want to see that movie now. And I have my Fantastic Four tickets already.
Dang. You don't waste any time, Micah.
I live in New York, Bill. People fight for these things.
Yeah, see, Marcus is saying there's no Batman in the movie, but if you're looking for Batman...
Oh, we do have Batman.
We do have Batman coming up
next. There is no Batman in the movie, so I think if they do that Guy Gardner story, it'll be later, which is fine. I would be totally happy if they decided to instead of doing the Justice League traditionally, give me that 80s version of the Justice League. Give me Martian Manhunter and like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. I'd be totally happy with that. They're giving us Booster Gold. I think there's a TV show.
Yeah, the TV show in development.
We'll see. My 15-year-old self might just crawl up into a happy little ball if that happens. But so this, another pencil cover, so apologies. It's Frank Quietly. This is Batman and Robin number 13. It's a great Batman and Robin. I think this is the only Joker cover that Quietly ever did.
It was the first published Joker by quietly. So Joker, the character that Joker appears earlier in the series in disguise, but this, I believe, was the first published image of him outside of that disguise, and Quietly didn't do the interiors for this part of the series, so when he's revealed in the previous issue, but Quietly didn't draw that. So this is the first one, which is very exciting. These also are comics that I read growing up and just devoured. So yeah, having this here is tremendous.
And it's a great play on the the classic death of the family. So instead of Robin being the one at the receiving end of the crowbar, you got Robin with the crowbar about to do unpleasant things to Joker with it. That's the Damian Wayne Robin, but still, it's he's exacting some vengeance for Jason Todd. I'm all for that. I mean, Quietly's work is exceptional. It's looking at this cover now, and I've lived with this for a few months. With the little details, there are very few artists that are as good with little details as Quietly. I mean, Joker's wearing specs. I mean, it's great.
It may be easier to see the details in the
image, yeah. But I mean, another one, digitally print, inked, not digitally air quotes inked, published from these pencils. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, Quietly art hasn't been inked in the traditional sense in 20 years, probably. So I think this is, finished as far as Quietly art.
Yeah, I don't think Quietly has been inked in any capacity since New X-Men.
Yeah, New X-Men.
And even some of that was just pencils towards the end. No, I mean, Quietly's work is extraordinary. I got to see a bunch of the drawings he was doing in Lake Como a few weeks ago, and just seeing what he can do in a very short period of time it's a little bit aggravating. But it's great to see, and then there's a reason why when he's at a show, he's a very, very popular guest. It's exciting. And probably for me, like since he came onto the scene, in the early mid-90s.
Yeah.
One of the best artists to come along since he's come along.
And one of the one of the most defining voices. I think he was unlike a lot of his contemporaries. And in the years since, other people have been influenced by him, significantly influenced by him. But that style really originates in many ways with him at that time.
And I mean, and it's a testament to him and Morrison, who is responsible for this cover too. That by all accounts, the Superman movie that we were just talking about is, not a small part based on, Morrison and Quietly's All-Star Superman. And, it's for a character that's been around for, 90, 80 something years now, 85 years, a little more than that, 87 years. All-Star Superman is a top 5 all-time Superman story. I mean, maybe top 3. And it's hard to do with a character that's been around for so long.
Yeah, I mean, nothing much to add there. That's another one that just, it kind of changed the game in terms of Superman stories. It has become a reference point for everything going forward.
So if you've never read All-Star Superman, you should, because it's great.
I haven't.
It's really good.
I've been yelled at numerous times for not reading it, so I will make amends at some point. Those pages are very sought after, as you know.
It's available now from DC in like a compact comic that's a $10 like paperback size format. I highly recommend picking that up if you haven't read it. It's a great way to read it, honestly, and affordable and portable.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, maybe I'll try to do that before Heroes. So
it's a great.
When I get there.
Those pocket-sized books are great for airplane reading.
Cool.
Although you probably couldn't read it in the flight from Orlando to Charlotte.
No, it's not. It needs to be cross country, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. Moving on, because we're again, it's 9:45. We've done like 8 pieces. This is George Tuska. It's a great Tuska Iron Man versus Submariner splash page. This is from Iron Man number 54. One issue before the Thanos was introduced. But yeah, really great Iron Man Submariner splash page. Just underwater, just fantastic. Submariner's face here, like all the Submariner faces in this issue, was inked by Bill Everett. The rest of the pages inked by Coletta, except for Submariner's face, which is inked by Everett. And yeah, just a great, like a perfect example of like a Bronze Age Marvel splash page. Like it has all the energy of Bronze Age Marvel work. And you know, we've talked about Tuska on, you know, on these before, and I love the energy in his artwork. He reminds me sometimes of Gene Colan, a lot of exaggerated poses, but I don't think he gets the regard that Colan gets. But I think that's great.
Yeah, Tuska's I don't know. He's not one of my favorites, but his time in comics is you know, he put in his time, and I actually own a couple Tuska pages, and one of them an Iron Man page, because that was the era where I really appreciated his work the most. And yeah, I agree. His stuff is solid.
Yeah. All right, now we're gonna jump up a few decades.
Yep.
So this is the cover to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin #4. This is by Esau and Isaac Escorza. This is basically the book that kind of, not that the Turtles ever became not relevant, they've always been sort of a media juggernaut, but this series kind of brought them back to prominence in comics.
And back to their roots of being more
Right.
of a sort of gritty and grounded story, like a crime story or an action story, as opposed to being more cartoony.
Yeah, this is very much, you know, the intensity of like kind of that Return to New York era Turtles. But you know, if you're not familiar with The Last Ronin, it's a future story about, so it's basically 3 of the Turtles are killed, and Michelangelo is left to sort of,
Spoilers, Micah.
yeah, well, it's revealed in the first issue, isn't it? I've never read it.
You've spoiled it for me.
It's like 10 years old.
It's like
4 years old. Still.
My fault. I'm sorry.
But I think it's a testament to the series and the desirability of the artwork that a cover with no turtles on it is doing as well as this cover is doing. It's you know, artwork from the series has been sold out for a very, very, very long time, so it is wildly desirable. And so we have that cover. We have this is an interior page from issue 5.
and then this is a page from issue 3.
And a page from issue 3. So we have several options. This page does have Michelangelo on it, and it's beautiful drawing. It's very much in the style of that sort of immediate post-Eastman and Laird turtle drawing, where it's a little more like hard-edged, the sort of turtle art from like, you know, into that sort of 90s period. But it's cool. It's actually, I do want to read it. It's on my list of books to read. And Kevin Eastman himself actually gave me a hard pitch on it once, and I was like, all right, I'll read it.
And I don't know if you can tell, it was published in a slightly oversized comic format, but also the pages are absolutely massive.
Yeah, they're like 14 by 22. They're huge.
Yeah, there are a couple of different sizes. This one is a little smaller, but the cover and then this page here, just enormous. Actually, kind of difficult to find a bag actually to fit them appropriately.
It will come in this top loader, whoever wins it. So you don't have to worry about what to store it in. We'll start staying modern. You want to talk about Jay Antoletto?
Yeah, so
Antoletto.
yeah, so this is a variant cover. I think it was a retailer exclusive variant cover.
Yeah.
From a Venom comic. Michael will have to tell me because it's on the link.
Venom number 11 from 2019.
So 2019 would have still been the. I don't remember which Venom series this was. It was either the Donny Cates series, the very memorable Donny Cates series, or the Al Ewing series that followed it immediately. Either way, this is a beautiful. It's all pencil. I initially thought this was
stunningly rendered.
I thought it was some kind of marker or ink wash, but it's all pencil, which is just unbelievable.
But if you look, so if you've got Venom here holding Spider-Man's mask, then you've got, you know, Peter Parker with no mask on because Venom holding it. You've got Black Cat. You've got Miles Morales, Spider-Man over here. You've got Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman. It's just like there's a lot of characters, and just incredibly for somebody who likes fake illustration and fantasy art, Bill, I think this would be right up your alley from a style perspective.
I love Anacleto's work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I always admired it.
More veins than I think I've ever seen on Venom, which is great. Venom should be.
You missed Carnage on the cover too, or did you say?
Oh yeah, Carnage is there
at the
as
bottom.
well. Yeah,
He's knocked out as well.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful drawing.
It's really delicate, which content-wise doesn't seem like it would be, but the drawing is just incredibly delicate. All the details really come through.
Like painstakingly render, Venom, just defeating everybody.
Buy it so you can see it up close.
Yeah, what he said. All right, let's go back. We're going to go back in time again.
Uh-oh.
This is Justice League number 22, part 2 of Crisis on Two Earths, the, for better or worse, introduction of multiverses into comic books. What could go wrong? But it is where it began. It's DC's first crisis, of which there have been many. DC loves crises just as much as Marvel loves Secret Wars. Great Black Widow page. I mean, not Black Widow, Black Canary. Sorry, Black Canary got the Atom. That's Mike Sekowsky. I will die on the hill of defending Mike Sekowsky. I think he's great. I think he's, partly responsible for just what Silver Age DC Comics look like. It's basically Sekowsky, Infantino, and Gil King.
We were arguing just the other day, actually. We're both Sekowsky fans, but we were arguing just the other day over who was the best Sekowsky inker. My pick is Bernard Sachs, who was responsible for many of these early Justice League pages, including this one. So take it from me, this is the best Sekowsky inker.
I disagree, but that's okay.
And Micah would say it's the second best. But
I think it's great, but I'm a Sekowsky Giacoya guy. I think that's a perfect pencil inker combination. Sekowsky Giacoya, Swan Anderson, it's like one of those classic pairings to me. But that's fine. It's fine. He's young still. He'll get there.
it's a beautiful picture.
I'm just kidding. All right, let's pulling modern again. Back to a Spider-Man cover with lots of characters on it. This is Ryan Ottley. This is the cover to Amazing Spider-Man: The Sins of Norman Osborn #1. This is the main cover. Ottley's great. And this is a fantastic Ottley Spider-Man cover with just a ton of characters on it.
When they announced that Ottley was going to be taking over Amazing Spider-Man, I stopped and wondered why it had taken so long to do that, because it's perfect, and every piece he turned in just continued to convince me that it was absolutely perfect. And this one is no exception. Ottley pencils and ink, so it's all him, and just really stunning.
It's probably inked over a blue line of his own pencils, but those pencils probably don't exist anyway. They might be all digital. But it is his own inks anyway, so who cares?
Yeah. Continuing in that vein, we've got this Amazing Spider-Man page, also penciled and inked by Ottley. It's got. Did we decide that wasn't Abomination? I think we did.
I don't know.
I don't know who the monster is. There's a monster, and then there's Kingpin, which also quite timely, but just great classic Spider-Man character and a really great modern Spider-Man artist. I think his run is going to go down in history as one of the sort of defining modern Spider-Man looks.
Who wrote those Spider-Man?
Nick Spencer and a couple of other writers, but
and another Ottley.
Yep. This is from Invincible here. I don't remember who this is at the top, but this is Robot. I just remember that because he's a robot.
And his name is Robot.
This is blue line pencils by Ottley and inks by Cliff Rathburn, who did a lot of the inks for Invincible.
Is it blue line pencils? Yes. But still, cool Invincible page. This is another piece in this auction that I think is great. Not my favorite, but another pretty great one. This is John Romita Jr., the pencils and inks, which is uncommon. This is 2 trading cards from the Marvel Universe Series 3 from 1992. So you've got Daredevil and Punisher and Spider-Man and Punisher, both really great
And kind
images.
of
Like that Daredevil Punisher image is a perfect Daredevil Punisher image by Romita Jr. And then the Spider-Man one is equally great.
And they're kind of the 3 characters that Romita Jr. is most associated with in his Marvel work. I mean, these were all characters that he was working on during that classic period in the early 90s when he just could do no wrong.
And the inscription down at the bottom, it says, "To Big John, thanks for all the preference. All the best, Little John." The Big John in question is Big John Buscema. So this was a piece that Romita gifted to John Buscema, which is also kind of awesome.
Yeah, those 2 pieces are beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I love that period of Romita Jr. His kind of Daredevil period. Daredevil, that's right around the time of Man Without Fear.
And right around the period of Punisher Warzone, which is some of the strongest work I think he ever did. Just a great time to be John Romita Jr.
Yes. Speaking of, this is another Romita Jr. This is Romita Jr. Hannah from Amazing Spider-Man number 45. This is from 2002. A nice Spidey Dr. Octopus action page. You know, a lot of flailing tentacles and a great Spidey panel down there at the bottom. So nice. This is moving on to a Deadpool cover by one of my favorite artists growing up and continuing to be one of my favorite artists, Chris Picciolo. This is Picciolo with inks by Tim Townsend, but it's a great, powerful image of Deadpool. It's really fabulous. Deadpool in this issue is sort of like charged up with, I forget, with the Moonstone. Yeah. So it's like Deadpool's kind of like jacked because of that. But it's classically Picciolo. I think it's fantastic. It's a beautiful piece. There's an overlay that's included that you can see the image on the website. It's an overlay that has like a reproduction of the cover dress. But I think on its own, it's just a beautiful image.
Yeah, we got some chiming in with it is Moonstone.
Thank you.
All right, and
More Picciolo.
This is from the 2015 Doctor Strange series that he did with Jason Aaron. I really love these comics. They're comics that I read when I was getting back into comics, and I was just really excited to read these. And really beautiful. You got this big sort of full height landscape here, and then you've got both Doctor Strange and Magic. Not 100% on who inked this. There are a few credited inkers for this issue, and it was not signed. If any artists are watching, sign your work. It's very helpful to
Or at least if you ink a page that has multiple inkers, just initial the back or something. Like Scott Hanna. Everybody can take a note from Scott Hanna. Every page he inks has SH written on the back of it. So thank you, Scott Hanna. He didn't ink that one though.
But yeah, James chiming in here that it was a great series, and this is just a great page.
It is a really beautiful page. Speaking of like interesting and innovative layout, that's kind of been the signature of Picciolo's entire career. Like right from the very, very beginning, he didn't think about comic book storytelling in a way that was normal. And I think that his work is better for it. If you look at, you know, the work he did with Vertigo in the 90s, or even his Generation X and X-Men work, it's different than the other artists who were doing the similar things at the time, because his storytelling sensibilities are different. And, you know, things like basically it's 5 inset panels in a splash image. Like that's incredible. It's very unusual to do things like that. And then this great, like, sort of chasm over here with Strange up at the top. Really, it's great work. Picciolo is one of my all-time favorite artists, honestly. I don't own a lot of multiple pieces by the same artists. I mean, I have some, but I think I have 5 Picciolo pieces. That's a lot for me.
Yeah, I mean, I much like Micah, we talk about this all the time. I love.
We get almost no work done.
The Changing Man series. That he
It
worked
is
on.
work, though. It is work.
Yeah, that's that.
I completely agree with you both. I have a few pieces by Chris as well, and stylistically, he is, I can't compare him to anybody, right? And he's been really fortunate to have great inkers when he does have people inking his work. You know, quietly can't say that, but certainly Chris can. And but no, you know, that particular series, I can't think of a bad page in it at all. I mean, the covers were fantastic, the interiors were.
And we're talking about a guy who's now been in comics for, over 40 years. No, over 30 years.
30 years, yep.
And pretty good right out of the gate. I mean, it took him, so he drew his one issue of Sandman, which is a pretty good thing to be your first published work. And then immediately transitioned from that one issue of Sandman into an ongoing series. And he finds his feet pretty early on Shade the Changing Man. If the first 6 or 7 issues, you could see him sort of feeling his way around. But by issue 10, that he's kind of hit his full stride, and it just gets better from there. Like I can't say enough nice things about Chris Pachalo. I hope he's watching. I'm sure he's not. I just scanned one of my pieces for DC. They're going to publish it in a book, so cool. I have the art to the Shade the Changing Man T-shirt, and they asked for it for the upcoming Shade the Changing Man omnibus.
Oh, lucky you!
Yeah, which is cool. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not selling that piece. Is not for sale anyway, but it's cool. It's cool. It's cool to get something published in a book. There will be more copies of that book than there are of that T-shirt. That's true. When I bought the art to that T-shirt probably 15 years ago, we might have talked about this when we did our interview so long ago now. It took me 5 years to find the shirt. Like
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, and and I was only able to find even like one image of it on the internet, and that was somebody who would cut out the image of the shirt and like sewn it onto a bag. Like I couldn't even find like a picture of the shirt. It was very strange. And then I found one on eBay for next to no money, but that's fine. Moving on.
I have not had any piece of art that I've ever owned be. Well, no, I can't say that. The Elementals cover was asked. Somebody asked me for that because when they did that Elementals Kickstarter, so I can say that it has happened to me.
Well, honestly,
I think it's cool.
As a quick aside, it's one of the great things about CAF is that it allows people who are looking for something to publish to access to where it is. Yeah, we just got contacted the other day by somebody at a publisher looking for a piece that we had sold a few years ago. Reached out to the buyer. It's just good for bringing people together like that. Mm-hmm. No, and I've had a few pieces where people have reached out to me through my CAF gallery to say, hey, do you think you could give us a scan for that? We'd love to include it in a book, and it's especially great when it's a piece that had been previously unpublished.
Right.
It adds, and I'm not saying this is all about value, but it adds provenance to a piece if it's published. And I don't want to take up too much more time. I'm going to keep this for another time, but I just found a piece that I've owned for 25 years that I had no idea if it was ever published. I found it published just a month ago, and it's a weird feeling to be looking for something for 25 years and finally finding it in a book. You're like, oh, thank God. Because, there's always that question of, is this piece authentic? Mm-hmm. When it's not published. And it was a Charles Schultz piece too, so it was even doubly better. That I know 100% that it's real, and I know where it's published, I know what year it's from, I know what it's from. And that's fantastic. Also, the value-wise, it doesn't matter to me. It was never going to be for sale, so it doesn't matter. But it takes away even this tiniest sliver of question about its authenticity. And the audience here are probably the last people in the world who have not heard that story. Unless they're on Facebook, where I have to. Go to the Original Art Collectors group on Facebook. You can go search for my name. It'll be literally the only post I've made there in a while. So if you're interested in the nuts and bolts of it. All right, Gene Colan, Captain Marvel. This is the splash page to Captain Marvel number 4, 1968. So early standard size Marvel art. So approaching late Silver Age, right around the time that Marvel went from twice up to standard. But it's a great sort of somber Captain Marvel cover. I love I'm just gonna come a little closer here for a second.
You've got the newspapers with the images sort of Captain Marvel in action. My absolute favorite thing about this cover, though, is his helmet just sort of kind of hanging out in the background. Just like, I just love where Colin decided to put the helmet. I thought was very smart. I just think this is beautiful. With Colin and Coletta, yeah, I think it's beautiful.
And still from that like late Silver Colin period where he was working kind of cartoony and less into the like shadowy, spooky stuff that he would get into in the 70s. So just a really good, like, exaggerated pose and great acting from Colin, which I think he really excelled at, especially during this period.
I agree. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, so we got this great, we sold a couple pieces like this before, but it's a great two-piece cover. It's a Catwoman variant cover for Catwoman 27 by Jenny Frison, who's one of the, I think, premier DC, and really just in general, premier cover artists of the modern period. So we've got this piece here is the sort of original outline pencils, and then this piece here is the finished rendering, and then it was colored digitally from this, which I think is done in like charcoal and white paint. Really, we were talking about this at the Anacleto, but really delicate rendering here, really great use of both highlights and shadows to
But so not a prelim though. So both of these pieces are used to create the finished piece. So it's digitally colored over the toned image, and then the outline art is kind of darkened like it were ink and laid over it. So both of these pieces combine to make the published cover. It's not a prelim finish situation. It's that both of these are the finish. Which is a very strange way to work, but that's how Frison decides to do it. And hey, artists should work in whatever way gets them the finished product that looks the way they want it.
I think that's one of the benefits of the modern period is you have all of these options available to you because you can do so much digitally. As much as I love the sort of things that artists had to do in the old days when they didn't have that digital technology, the options are just so much greater now, and you can kind of see what art looks like when artists have those tools at their disposal.
Exactly. And now
you remember the old days, right, Micah?
I do remember the old days, Bill. So I mean, I went to school to learn how to make comic books, and do you know what they never tried to teach us how to use?
At the School of Visual Arts?
Yeah.
What did they not teach you there?
Pencil computers.
They were
we
asked for pencils.
At no point during my time at the School of Visual Arts did they even consider that learning how to use a computer might be useful. So you know, you know how hesitant people are to change. But speaking of,
most of the instructors probably were the old school generation
true.
of artists. So that I would think.
So let's move on to Mr. Robert Crumb.
Yep.
The, and I will fight anybody who disagrees, current best living cartoonist. Because he's Robert Crumb and Mobius is dead. But
I could argue with you.
So this is from a series of drawings that Crumb did in the late 70s for it was a proposal for a film based on a short story that he had done called White Man Meets Bigfoot. So this is sort of the bio image sort of design sheet for the White Man character, who's basically just a stand-in for Robert Crumb. But I love all the little details about him. You know, he's White Man, a nondescript individual, a totally non-threatening demeanor, Mr. Nice Guy, a little bit sad, looking harried, a beaten man. So, you know, a classic Crumb character. Yeah, bad posture, thick glasses. Yeah, corny behavior. He's Robert Crumb. And, you know, I mean, all Crumb work is fabulous. This is no exception. It's a great time period. This is like 1977. Signed, which most of the drawings he did in this series of presentation pieces aren't. So you got a great little Crumb signature. I like that. If it were a little higher up, it would look like a name tag, which would be actually kind of hilarious. But I mean, one of the best pure artists that comics has ever produced, and one of the purest visions that comics has ever produced. He never sacrificed anything for anyone at any point in his career, for better and worse. So
I agree. I've never owned a work by Crumb, but you know, that will get corrected at some point, because I agree with you.
If you already have one, I would consider it. I mean, and granted, and you know, as far as Crumb's work goes, Crumb's work is expensive, and with good reason. It should be expensive. He's, again, the greatest living cartoonist, and in my personal top 10 of greatest cartoonists of all time, period. And you know, this will be on the lower end of what a Crumb, a nice finished inked Crumb piece costs, but it won't be cheap, but it's not going to be $20,000 either. So it's a nice Crumb for somebody who would really like a Crumb in their collection, but maybe doesn't want to spend what it costs to get like a published page or a more finished illustration. I think it's fabulous. All right, we got some Spawn pages. Some pretty cool Spawn pages, actually, if you ask me. There couldn't be anything farther from Robert Crumb to follow Robert Crumb. It's almost kind of perfect. But so we've got 4 pages by Capullo and McFarlane from moderately early issues of Spawn.
We were kind of amazed. These just kind of rolled in all in a very short succession, and we have not seen this many all in one place.
I don't think I've sold 4 Capullo Spawn pages in the entire time I've been selling comic book art, and then we got 4 for this auction from different consigners. Not 4 different consigners, but multiple consigners. So this is we're out of order a little bit, but this is the splash page to Spawn 45, which it's got a nice full image of Spawn sort of writhing and being sort of tortured in a way that Spawn often is. But I really, I was still reading Spawn at this point. I really enjoyed when Capullo comes in and McFarlane is still inking. You get a really interesting mashup of styles. Whereas Capullo is a little more traditional than McFarlane, but McFarlane brings his sort of energy and detail into the inking, which I think informed Capullo going forward. I think Capullo is a different artist when he started on Spawn to where he was when he left Spawn. It's he's a little more confident. But yeah, this is great. And I think if I remember right, from this sort of time period, the Spawn's in the mid-30s to mid-40s issues, the only page 1 splash that actually has Spawn on it, which is cool.
Also from that issue, we've got page 20 from that issue, so towards the end. But this one, we got Spawn here at the top, and then down here at the bottom, great sort of silhouette image of Spawn's face. Just again, great McFarlane inking. Capullo really had that big, energetic anatomy, and then McFarlane with all that little detail really makes it sort of gritty and creepy, like a Spawn story should be.
This one might be my favorite of the bunch. It's mostly a Sam and Twitch page, but it's Sam and Twitch confronting Spawn, and it's got some humor in it, and just a lot of just real dense inking by McFarlane. Reference to Kincaid, which is the main Spawn villain of the first 50 issues or so. This is from issue 35. So modern. I mean, Capullo comes in relatively early, but I still consider this sort of early period Capullo. While McFarlane is still inking, as long as McFarlane is still inking, I sort of consider that early period Capullo Spawn. I think, yeah, a lot of good folding and draped kind of cloth and coats and capes and McFarlane stuff.
And then the last one's from Spawn 33, so this is the earliest one of the lot. But we've got great page here of Spawn and Violator fighting in what appears to be a sewer. They're underwater for sure. I know that matters to some collectors. But
you could pretend that Stingray is on this page. I'm just saying.
But yeah, we've got Spawn sort of sticking out at the top and a giant sort of Violator face. And then my favorite part of this page actually is the panel 3 with the little Violator sticking out of the water at the bottom. Just a great sort of a little bit of you know, exaggerated cartooning that I think Micah was talking about in terms of how Capullo's style changed while drawing this title.
We have a Capullo Batman page coming up in a little bit, so you can see sort of where he ended up, and, you know, 20, 25 years later, but still, you know, producing top quality work. And just to answer number one Marvel fan, Sergio Aragonés is amazing. He's great. He's top 5, top 3 maybe, but sorry, Robert Crumb is the best living cartoon. I have to, you know, fight for my battles.
We could lose all day to this conversation. We definitely had here in the office before.
There was a thread on the CGC boards a couple months ago about who the greatest living cartoonist was, and that caused endless debate in the office. Sergio Aragonés is amazing. He's a national treasure, and he's not even from this country. And I claim him for America because he's amazing. Sorry, everybody else.
You're going to start an international
Exactly.
over here.
Exactly.
The Gulf of Sergio Aragonés.
I would sign that petition. All right. This is I forget his name.
This is David Nakayama, another very prominent modern cover artist and Fortnite loading screen illustrator. And this is from the Symbiote Spider-Man King in Black #4, so from the King in Black Venom crossover event that spun out of the Donny Cates Venom run. Just a great image of Black Suit Spider-Man. This is from the sort of side series of miniseries about Spider-Man during the Black Suit era. All written or mostly written by Peter David.
Another one. And really compositionally, I think this is a fabulous image. And I think part of why it's doing so well in the auction is that it's a really striking image of Spider-Man. Like really well composed, well designed, and well executed. You know, just the Spidey battling sort of symbiote, like in a really dynamic way. I like this cover. I was not familiar with this artist when we got this piece in, and it impressed me.
He finishes all of his covers digitally, and there's a lot of rendering added in the digital step. So I had assumed that all of his work was done digitally and that there were no originals. But seeing this one really kind of blew me away because there's so much work done in the drawing here with, you know, marker and whiteout that I had assumed was all done in sort of Photoshop and digital painting.
I'm trying to move a little bit quicker now. Some classic Scotty Young. A lot of characters. We got six character Scotty Young. So you got Elektra and Cyclops and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and Captain America and Wolverine.
This is from the Death of Doctor Strange series from a few years ago. Really kind of funny setup on that cover there with the ghost of Doctor Strange.
And I find Scotty Young's covers to be so charming as to be some kind of criticism proof. It's like it's impossible if you don't find these covers fun, then I don't think you like comics. They're just so charming.
And good on Marvel really for continuing to have him do these, because I think you could very easily say like, no, we want people to take the Death of Doctor Strange very seriously. We're not going to joke about it at all. There's nothing fun about this story, but this cover is just so fun that it's kind of undeniable. All right,
So that's Ed McGuinness.
We've got right here an Ed McGuinness cover to Superman, Our Worlds at War, Secret Files #1. So this was a sort of one shot featuring the sort of behind the scenes, away from the spotlight stories from the Our Worlds at War crossover. But just a classic, dynamic Ed McGuinness Superman image. I mean, there's a reason that his Superman was so sort of groundbreaking when he stepped onto that title in the early 2000s, late 90s.
Late 90s, I want to say.
So this is from 2001, so right there in the sort of prime period of Ed McGuinness Superman. And it is as good a Superman image as you could expect from McGuinness here, with Steel and someone else down at the bottom.
Someone else.
There were characters changed and added after the cover was drawn, so it's not 100% the same as the published version.
Here, because we were talking about it earlier, this is Justice League International number 7, the first Justice League International issue of the series. I mean, I can go back and hear me talk about the series earlier when we were talking about Guy Gardner, but I love this comic. I love this comic very much, and I think this page is exceptional. You got a great image of most of the team: Batman, Booster Gold, Black Canary, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Black Canary, Mr. Miracle, Captain Marvel, and you got Martian Manhunter down here. I mean, these comics, I try not to be clouded by nostalgia, and then I see a page like this, and I just go, it just makes me happy. I love Kevin Maguire. I've told him basically that to his face, just made him uncomfortable. And like this to me, this comic is partially responsible for why and what I find funny. So like it's part of the, mash that creates my particular sense of humor. And I got to tell that to Keith Giffen once, and that was rewarding.
There's another one.
Yeah. No, some show last year, I had a good 15, 20-minute conversation with Maguire about Giffen and how much better he was than he ever thought he was. Giffen was, a curmudgeon in the classic sense, and I think it made him better. He brought a little bit of that grumpiness to his writing, and I think it made him funnier. But anyway, that's a great Justice League page.
It is, and I'm sure Maguire's restraining order is still in effect after you told him how much you cared about his work.
We had some of these in the last auction. We've got some Joe Jusko paintings from the 2016 Marvel Masterpieces. This one is extraordinary. This is like classic Iron Man, repulsor beam, shooting straight out at you. Just a great classic kind of Silver Agey Iron Man by Jusko, who I think he respects the history of the things he portrays in a way that you can see, because he doesn't draw them necessarily in an old-fashioned way, but he is reverent to the source material. So you get the costume as it should be, just a great Iron Man.
Nothing proves that reverence for the source material more than this Doctor Strange, which is the classic ill-advised full-face suit from the early Bronze Age. Really just kind of a misstep in terms of costume, but Jusko makes it look good and really sells it. He doesn't play it up as a joke. He takes it 100% seriously.
Yep.
And it really makes it work in a way that it never really had before.
And this one I think has Bill's name on it.
Let's see. What is it? Oh, yeah.
Got a little sort of like rice paper overlay, so apologies that it's not super clear. But yeah, great classic sort of soaring Thor by Jusko. And, bidding's still open, Bill. You can finally win something. I can bring it to you at Heroes next week if you win it.
We got
that offer extends to anyone. If you're going to be at Heroes and you win something on Thursday, I will hand deliver it to you.
We got here another Iron Man fighting Fin Fang Foom this time. Just the most famous of the Kirby monsters, and for good reason. Just a great name, fun to say, and a good character.
It is fun to say, Fin Fang Foom. And we have Falcon. There's a few of these. So Falcon. These cards are beautiful. And it's amazing to me that, this is the second series, I think, that Jusko did in its entirety. Just the ability to sit down and create like 160 or 175 unique paintings for a card set and have and put your all into all of them. And Joe doesn't cut corners. He doesn't half-ass anything.
Yeah. Last but not least here, Iceman. Great example of not half-assing anything, because it's a very busy composition, but all of the elements are very clear. And just a good demonstration of Iceman's powers and hard to make it this clear with the limited color palette, and just really great work doing that.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of paintings by the Irish painter Ryan Brown. These are just illustrations as far as I know, but a great Venom, another kind of drooly, veiny Venom.
Yeah, apparently we're the Venom dealers now.
Well, apparently we've got a lot of Venom recently. But yeah, like a really nice Venom by Brown, and even more striking, I think, is this Joker. Just it's piercing. He really captures the psychosis and the kind of crazy, the eyes being different. It's unnerving in the best way.
I've seen a few different Jokers by Ryan Brown. He's done covers here and there, and in each one of them, the eyes are slightly different colors. It's just a really interesting choice, and I'm surprised that more people haven't done that.
It makes them look crazier. And regardless of what the movies will try to tell you, the Joker's crazy. Man, we just keep getting to the sad pieces. Tim Sale. This is from Catwoman When in Rome. Beautiful ink wash Tim Sale piece. I mean, Tim Sale is, in other words, like his composition and storytelling is so good that even on pages where there's not a ton going on, not that there's not a lot going on here, but he makes everything look beautiful. And he drew a fantastic Catwoman.
What people may not tell you is that this could be the strongest of the Long Halloween related comics. You know, there's the Halloween specials and Long Halloween and Dark Victory and When in Rome. And When in Rome may be the strongest. It's just really, really great, confident work from both Loeb and Sale.
Moving on. This is a splash page from Alien vs. Predator Eternal. This is from 1998. This is early work, relatively early work by Alex Maleev. But really great kind of horror-y alien splash. Yeah, a couple of aliens, beautiful drawing. Maleev, because early in 2000, whatever, when he started working on Daredevil with Bendis, his style changed. It became a little more digital, a little more composite. He would do like a hybrid physical digital. But like his work from the 90s on, from going back to The Crow, which I think was his first book.
That was his first.
And this stuff is really beautiful drawing. He's always been a talented guy. And I saw some of the work he was doing in Como, and then he was crushing some like at-show commissions in Como. Extraordinary. A great value for what you get. He doesn't skimp. All right. This is Spider-Man Sunday comic by John Romita. Also inscribed by Romita Sr. this time to John Buscema. With admiration and good wishes to John B. from John Romita. It's a nice Spider-Man Sunday. You got Spidey up here. You got Aunt May and Peter Parker and Robbie Robertson. Just like classic sort of Romita Spider-Man characters. This last panel was beautiful.
And maybe as good an Aunt May as I've ever seen Romita do. The kind of classic Romita period Aunt May. This is from 1978.
Yep.
So later than his classic run on the Spider-Man comic book, but just every bit as good.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got a couple of covers now by Marvel Stormbreaker artist Eban Coelho. We got first up is the main cover to Dark Ages #1. This was a sort of Elseworld style series where the power went out across the Marvel universe. There was no light. So you can see that the cover, all the characters are in silhouette, which is a really cool decision. And really hard to communicate this many different characters and who they are without any of that lighting, just doing it all through the silhouettes, and really good ink work to give all that texture and identity to all these different characters. And then we've got this, the Kang the Conqueror #1 Stormbreakers variant. So Marvel highlighted a lot of their sort of up-and-coming artists who were, big talents they were trying to promote. And this was one of the covers used to highlight those artists. Just great. We've got Kang fighting the Young Avengers, both of whom were said to feature prominently in the next phase of the MCU. So these are all characters that you may see on the big screen soon. And again, just really good work that sort of worm's eye view again, like the last cover, and lots of different characters.
There's that Greg Capullo Batman page we were teasing earlier. This is Batman number 50. This is from the Tom King. Right?
No, so this is from the end of the classic
My bad.
Snyder Capullo run from the New 52.
We do have a Tom King page coming up.
We do. So stay tuned for those. But this is the end of the Super Heavy / Bloom arc that featured Jim Gordon as Batman. So you can see the sort of Batman mech in that wide middle panel with Jim Gordon piloting it, and then Bruce Wayne as Batman in Capullo's redesigned Batsuit jumping back into action. I see Stingray saying that run got weird at the end. Honestly, this might be my favorite story from that whole run. It was so different and so exciting. Bringing in, the Batman mech and, Bruce Wayne getting his memories back in this issue. And then Bloom, Mr. Bloom here, the sort of Slenderman inspired, flower, creepy villain, up here at the top, being as creepy as ever. This is just a great page for any fans of that series.
Then we have another contender for greatest living cartoonist, but also sadly not the winner. Barry Wintersmith. This is from the Wildstorm Rising book that I think the only Wildstorm book that Smith drew. So you got a lot of sort of Wildcats characters and other sort of various Wildstorm characters, but all drawn in this incredibly confident Barry Smith style. It's inks by John Floyd, who's one of his go-to inkers from that time period. And just Barry Smith, again, he's in the running for greatest living cartoonist. He's just not Robert Crumb. But I've been a fan of Smith's work since I first saw it. It's just, he draws like no one else, and it's all beautiful. So yeah, Barry Smith.
We got a page from the NAM number 4 by Michael Golden and John Beatty. Golden was only on this series for the first 10 or 12
Something like that.
So these pages are relatively hard to find. I know they're sought after.
And very sought after.
This is by John Beatty, who again was one of the just great inkers from this period of Marvel art. And no battle action here, but that's not really what made this series great. What made this series great was just the day-to-day life of the guys in Vietnam, and this is every bit as good as any of those pages featuring sort of daily routine of life over there. Just a fantastic page from an early. It was not number 8, apologies, but it was a great page from an early issue of that series.
Absolutely. I'll leave this one. What do you talk about? Arak, God of Thunder.
Arak, Son of Thunder.
Son of Thunder.
This is why I'm talking about this one. Micah. It's just a fantastic cover here. It's got an effects overlay that was the sort of rays coming out were burned out in white on the published cover, but just a really striking image of like some kind of spirit with a sword, like an angel, coming out and startling Arak here. A really effective image by Ron Randall, who did the pencils and inks on this cover. Just a great, sort of Bronze Age fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Very, very 80s. Is it 80s?
Yeah. 84.
Yeah, so it's a very 80s kind of like Amethyst and Arak and Warlord kind of.
Yeah, your sort of sword and sorcery, sword and sandal.
Post Conan the Barbarian, the movie comic book title. But that's cool. It's good drawing. I got nothing against it. It's fun. It's fun. All right. We have reached the John Buscema portion of our preview.
If this Avengers cover wasn't enough, there is enough John Buscema in this auction to choke a horse.
So this is just an illustration. This is Captain America and Thor. So Bill, you and Alberto can fight over this one.
We'll have to.
But I think it's great. Reminiscent of Silver Surfer 4 a little bit.
Exactly.
Which is, I think it's great. This is
So we've got 2 pages from the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. We've got this illustration.
oh, I want to. Does anybody in the chat know who this character is? Because it took us a minute.
Yeah, if you're looking at the website, you're disqualified.
Yeah, exactly. No cheating.
Based on the image.
I can't tell just from the image.
So my first instinct was Nova.
Rich Chirillo has got it. I don't know if you're looking at.
I think Rich cheated.
If you're looking at the website, Rich, that's no fair. But it is in fact her, the
Female companion to him, also known as Adam Warlock.
and just great drawing.
Absolutely.
By Buscema and inked by Rubenstein, like
Every single Marvel handbook piece ever.
This one here is the Wasp, which I think is just an excellent drawing of the Wasp in her 80s costume. But beautiful expression, perfect pose, just very sassy.
Yeah, very sassy is exactly the word I would have used.
And Buscema was really great at that. He could effortlessly portray the mood of any character.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that here in what was essentially a technical illustration.
Yeah, pretty much. I got a couple of second run Avengers pages by Buscema. This is Avengers 281. Another one, it's got Captain America and Thor on it again. So you can and Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel. I mean, Buscema's fabulous, and Buscema Palmer. It's just they're so good.
And then here we've got another second run Avengers page, this time from issue 258. This has got Black Knight on it, coming soon to movies in the Blade movie, whenever that happens.
This is a stunning page. It pencils endings by Buscema. This is from Savage Sword, Conan 222. Just that first panel at the top of Conan sort of busting out of that page is classic Buscema. I think it's I love it when he inked, no offense to Tom Palmer or anybody else who inked Big John Buscema, but I like it when artists ink their own work. I think it's more direct. And I think this is a fabulous Conan page.
Not only is it a fabulous page, it's also from an issue of Savage Sword that was a retelling of the story that the Conan the Barbarian #1 was adapted from. So that one was by classic Conan artist Barry Windsor Smith, who we already discussed. This is by classic Conan artist John Buscema. So you get both versions of that story by the 2 main Marvel Conan artists.
We've got another sort of a simpler drawing of the Hulk, and some preliminaries. That's Conan and Red Sonja.
Really great pencil preliminary here.
It's got Spider-Man and the Vulture, the rare Spidey by John Buscema, and obviously also a rare Vulture by John Buscema. But it's nice. I like these prelims. You've got a great insight into an artist's process and how they worked out a drawing.
And then here we've got Hela, Thor, and the Warriors 3. This is the preliminary drawing from one of the last commissions that Buscema did before he died.
The finish of this is actually on cap.
Yeah, if you want to look up the finish, it's great, and I think this prelim is equally great. The sort of gestural work being done here is really excellent.
Yeah, that's
And I'm going to skip ahead to the other Buscemas, do them all at once.
Yeah.
May as well. Do you want to see what my favorite piece in the auction is, Bill?
I do. I've been eagerly waiting to find out.
It makes sense. So, this is another John Buscema. This is a piece that Buscema did for the Mobius tribute portfolio Visions of Arzak in the early 90s. It's published by Dark Horse as 2 or 3 sort of mini portfolios. And it was different artists sort of paying tribute to Mobius. And this drawing is filled with such reverence that you can tell from this drawing how much Buscema appreciated and respected Mobius. It's done in a style that's unusual for Buscema, pencils and watercolor. There's no ink in this drawing, just pencils and paint. And I've never seen another painting by Buscema, and I think it's extraordinary. I kind of wish he had done more. It is both identifiably Mobius characters and identifiably Buscema drawing. I mean, if you look at the face, it's perfect Buscema face. I love this creature. I love everything about this drawing, and yeah, it's extraordinary. And you know, for an auction that has Robert Crumb in it and Charles Schultz in it, that this is my favorite says a lot about how much I like this particular drawing.
He's going to be inconsolable on Thursday when we have to mail this. And if that wasn't enough for you, someone saw that we had that and was like, wait a minute, I am familiar with this drawing, and offered us this, which is the prelim for that very same illustration. So it's mostly pencil with some paint on it. The little goblin man at the bottom is painted, which is just excellent. And then you can tell it's tightly gridded, which is interesting. He was working very carefully on this one, which I think again shows the reverence he had. He wanted to get it exactly right. But just an excellent prelim, kind of stands on its own, but next to each other, they're just incredible.
Yep.
Very nice. So not the same consigner for those.
No, different consignments. Yeah,
Wow.
it's weird. Yeah, we had the finished piece at a convention ahead of the start of the auction, maybe a month and a half ago, maybe. And somebody saw it and was like, "Oh, I've got the prelim of that. Do you want to put it up on the auction with this?" And we're like, "Of course I do." The answer to that is definitely yes. We've got a few. Again, I think like the last time, we had a couple of these in the last auction as well. This is the cover to Marvel Comics Presents number 152. This is Fred Harper's Vengeance cover. And because Fred Harper is a little bit odd, we also have two unpublished covers from that. He did the run that he did, the Vengeance covers run that he did on Marvel Comics, like 4 or 5 issues. But he apparently did like 3 or 4 versions of each cover. So this is a couple of different versions of some of the other covers. This would be an alternate version of the cover to 153. This was an alternate version of the cover to 155. Very similar, and these look finished. They're not prelims. At some point, I'll see him at a show, and I'm going to ask, why so crazy, Fred Harper?
It's a lot of
time on his hands.
What's that?
You know, I said too much time on his hands. He
Maybe,
was
maybe.
probably hoping he was going to be on for 12 issues and get all that work done.
Yeah. We've got this.
We've got like it's almost 11:15. So let's
yeah. Let's go quickly.
Motor.
We've got excellent Curse of the White Knight page by Sean Murphy. Really big Batman, the good image of Batman, which is weirdly hard to find for a Batman book. So take advantage of this opportunity to get a really good image of Batman, a really good 2-3 images of Jim Gordon. It's an excellent page from an excellent.
You got that great Batman close up in the this middle, the 4th panel.
Yeah, we got close-up Batman, close-up Gordon, just really good faces from a guy who is really good at faces.
He's very good at faces. I'll go through these real quickly. Just say we've got, there's 3 Alan Davis Excalibur pages. You can go look at them. A couple of Alan Davis X-Men pages. This is X-Men 93 and X-Men 98. It's a nice Sabretooth fight page, and this is a nice page with it's got Thor on it. A bunch of characters, a bunch of Alan Davis,
and a Legion cover.
And a Legion cover.
I thought he was only a Marvel guy.
Yeah, he famously did a couple of Justice League stories.
Yeah, and then a great Batman story. We got this.
You drew the first part of Batman Year 1, didn't you?
Year 2.
Year 2. Sorry, I apologize. That was a terrible mistake.
Got this awesome Umberto Ramos pencils and inks, which is unusual. X-Men cover. Really, really great drawing, very delicate, which is not necessarily what you would associate with Ramos. I tend to associate him with very dynamic anatomy, but the drawing here is very good. And again, buy it so you can look at it closer.
Mm-hmm. This is John McCrae. This is Demon Annual number 2. This famously the first appearance of Garth Ennis's Hitman, so Ennis and McCrae's Hitman, and he's featured prominently on this page. It's a nice, cool, first appearance page from a character that went on to have a very, very long-running series.
Yeah, very successful, beloved comic.
Yeah, and McCrae and Ennis basically did the entire thing themselves.
Yeah, I believe so.
So that's pretty cool.
We got this really interesting Jim Lee page from Batman Europa. So it's layouts by Giuseppe Camuncoli, who I believe did layouts for this entire series. But this is a page from the end of the first issue where Batman and Joker are realizing that they're going to have to work together. And it's really delicately done in pencil and ink wash by Jim Lee. I love it when he experiments with different styles. We all know what the sort of classic Jim Lee, Scott Williams ink style looks like.
My favorite, from Hush, my favorite pages are the Jim Lee's ink wash pages. I think they're beautiful. I think Jim Lee is a better artist than even he gives himself credit for. I wish he would do things like this more. And you see it when he did his series of sort of quarantine COVID charity illustrations. He was playing around with form and style because he was just doing these drawings for fun and for charity. And he produced, I think, some of the best drawing he had done in decades on those drawings.
When he doesn't think it matters, he's willing to try new styles and new techniques, and that's, I think, when he really.
And this is for a guy who's generally pretty good.
Yeah,
he's okay. He's okay.
Generally pretty good. Yeah. Well, didn't they end up putting?
That's going to be my full quote on his biography. Generally.
But weren't all those drawings that he did for charity put into a book at some point, or were they planning on that?
The Mignola ones were done as a
mostly.
Book. I don't know if the Jim Lee ones.
They might have been.
But either way, they were a lot of fun. I mean, who didn't look forward to those?
No, I know. It was like, ooh, what's he gonna do next?
Right.
This is Scott McDaniel cover to Wizard Magazine number 74. It's a great Nightwing cover by Scott McDaniel.
This one is awesome because this was the announcement that Nightwing was getting a solo series. So he had been a character for years, but he had never had his own ongoing book. And so McDaniel, who drew that ongoing book for a really long time, did the cover of Wizard Magazine in the issue that had a feature about that series launching. So this predates Nightwing number 1, which is very cool.
That is cool. This is not upside down as much as I want it to be upside down. This is by Ben Oliver. I think this is a fun, really classically, a really great idea for a Harley Quinn cover. It's, she's making googly eyes with her chin. If you can't, I'm not on camera, but if you, now it makes sense.
Well, it's just really kind of a playful idea for a cover, and it's exactly something Harley Quinn would do.
100%.
And really well executed.
Yeah, really, really good, kind of classically illustrated. It almost looks like a 50s advertising illustration, like this style. It's really, really pretty. You got another little Ben Oliver, just a quick, not quick, but a little illustration of Catwoman.
This is an interesting one. We've got a Todd McFarlane and Tony DeZuniga Infinity Ink page. So we got these sort of feature panels jumping between different members of the team with their sort of emblems on the side. And then in the bottom panel,
Spider-Man.
It's not Spider-Man, but you would be forgiven for thinking so. You can see what McFarlane would do.
It's definitely Spider-Man.
Female Spider-Man, female cat-themed Spider-Man.
But I like seeing, this is a year before McFarlane took over Spider-Man, but already he had Spider-Man on his brain, I think. What am I going to do when I eventually get to draw Spider-Man? We have another McFarlane here. This is a page from Hulk 331. It's another sort of nice kind of not early, but kind of pre-Spider-Man McFarlane, but still identifiably McFarlane and recognizably, and you can really see, where the style that became that kind of classic McFarlane style came from.
Got a fun painted illustration here by Bill Sienkiewicz of the Joker. Just another great example of making the Joker look crazy, which Sienkiewicz has always been very good at. So excellent drawing the Joker here.
Just grab a few here. It's a Roger Cruz. This is Marvel Age Spider-Man number 16 cover. This is another one I believe this was printed directly from these pencils. That's Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. That's a nice cover. This is another one of Marvel's Stormbreakers cover. This one by Joshua Cassara.
Also from that Kang the Conqueror #1 that we looked at earlier.
Yeah. And I know I'm going a little quickly at this point, but these are all on the website, easily look overable and scrutinizable. This is beautiful. This is Win Mortimer. This is the splash page from the story Summertime Romance from Girls Romances #144. But it's like as nice a sort of like late Silver Age. It's 1969. Yeah, so late Silver Age kind of DC romance art. But I just really beautiful drawing from Mortimer. It's just exceptional. It's Mortimer inked by George Roussos. It's quite lovely, I think. It's got this is Irv Novick again. This is the title page from one of the Robin backups from Batman #234. That's the title page from Robin backup. Again, it's great drawing from Novick or Giordano inks. This is Marvel Team Up #95. This is by Jim James and Bruce Patterson. This is from the first appearance of Mockingbird from the Shield TV show and all sorts of comic books. But this is the first page where she actually fights. This is like page 3. This is the first page where you realize like, oh hey, this character's somebody. And then we've got some early work by Stanford Green, who's having quite a moment, and deservedly so. I think the Stanford Green Doom one-shot was exceptional. And this is the Marvel Adventures Spider-Man cover. So from the series based on the animated series, we got Spider-Man and is that Dragon Man? No.
Yeah.
Dragon Man. Yeah, Dragon Man and the Prowler. Really nice work from Stanford Green.
We got here a really beautiful Thor versus Dr. Doom painting.
Got a lot of Thor here for you, Phil.
Yeah, this is great.
I'm being targeted.
Doom,
Yeah.
quite.
There's another one staring at me that hit coming up.
This is by Isad Ribic, who's well known for his painting, and this is just a great example of that style. And another Isad Ribic, we've got a really excellent Thanos page from the recent Eternal series that he did that I think was one of the best Marvel books of that time that it was running. Just a really excellent series with Kieran Gillen and prominently featuring Thanos here on this page.
All right, this is take this one out real quick. This is from Avengers and X-Men. This is for the backup story featuring Thor and Magic by Mark Teixeira. This is a beautiful double splash by Teixeira. The great images of Thor and Magic. And another Teixeira here.
We got a Ghost Rider page featuring both Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch in the middle of transformation. Basically everything you could ever want on a Ghost Rider page. So check it out if you're a Ghost Rider fan.
There's no bike on it.
There's no bike, there's no car, but character-wise, transformation-wise, it's all there.
And this is a Ron Lim page from What If the Silver Surfer Had Not Escaped the Earth. So it's a nice Surfer versus Mephisto page by Lim, which is, made one of the great Surfer artists now. I mean, his time on the Silver Surfer with Starlin produced some of the most memorable stories the character's ever had.
Probably drew more issues with Silver Surfer than anybody else. That the original run was not very long.
That's true.
So Lim is kind of the defining artist in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
We've got two great pieces. This first one is a full color illustration by DK Ruan of Wolverine and X-23 in her Wolverine outfit from when she was the main Wolverine. Just a great piece here. I mean, the colors are really excellent. The composition is very good. The expressions are great. I'm a big fan of DK Ruan, and this is a good example of why. And then also from DK Ruan, we've got this Spider-Gwen tryout page. He drew a short story that sort of auditioned for the role of Spider-Gwen artist. He didn't take over the series, but pretty quickly rose to be one of the most in-demand Marvel artists of the last few years, and does a lot of great covers for the Ultimate series right now. So you can check out his art there.
Actually, this test page is better than a lot of finished published work. It's a really pretty page.
Yeah.
Very beautiful ink wash, and just really delicate drawing and attention to details on point.
He put a lot of effort into this. You can tell he really wanted to get the job at Marvel, and and it paid off. He is very successful these days.
And it's a really it's too bad. It's a really nice Spider-Man page. All right, here we got, this is G.I. Joe number 25. This is by Frank Springer, but a nice, moderately early Marvel G.I. Joe page, and some nice G.I. Joes. A bunch of, you got, I think, you got Firefly on here, and that's Rock and Roll, and Duke, and Roadblock, a bunch of I like weird muscle memory of who G.I. Joe characters are from my childhood.
You know your G.I. Joe character.
It's so many G.I. Joes that Micah had a really hard time naming all of them without looking them up.
There was one that took some effort.
And inked by Mike Gustovich, too, one of my all-time favorite inkers. So.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Cool. Nice page.
So fun to coincide with the TV show, which should be coming soon, July, I think. We've got this excellent Sandman commission.
One of David Keane's classic sort of collage and paint commissions.
Just really excellent application of that technique. Just a really great image from Keane, who was always one to experiment and try new styles.
Absolutely. Got a couple of really nice sort of classic drawings by Neil Adams, available separately, but I'll show them to you at once because, some hard traveling heroes. But a really great Green Lantern and a nice Green Arrow portrait. Adams, Adams did a ton of, especially in this style, he did a ton of these drawings, and you can tell, when he's drawing Green Arrow or when he's drawing Green Lantern, these are characters he has a special place for.
All right, this one may be my favorite piece in the auction. If I could walk away with one of them, it would probably be this one. This is from the Legend of the Swamp Thing Halloween Spectacular, which introduced the Rom V, Mike Perkins creative team to Swamp Thing, and they did a really memorable run on Swamp Thing immediately after this one-shot came out. But this is from the first story from that. It's got great Swamp Thing sitting by a tree. It's got a corpse in the bottom. It's got an excellent turtle and Swamp Thing's back. No great Swamp Thing page fails to feature the swamp or Swamp Thing's back. It's just always there for some reason.
True.
So this is a really excellent page by Perkins here.
Yeah, I love that page too.
Burn through these. You got a nice Tom Lyle Venom page. This is from the Spider-Man the Venom Agenda. Number 1, this is 1998. A nice Venom in pretty much almost every panel. But then really nice, again, one nice veiny Venom from Tom Lyle. A couple of really nice Paul Smith pieces. This is as nice a Paul Smith commission. I mean, we've all seen sort of these kind of small ones that he's been doing for a while. And this is a great one. It's like the original Iron Man armor. But this is also available, still great. But this one of Kitty Pryde and Wolverine and Spider-Man is it's really fabulous. Paul Smith, I don't know why he's not making more comics, because he can still. I mean, that's older, but he's he still posts these drawings on his website, and they're still amazing. And either he just doesn't want to do the grind of making comics anymore, or nobody's hiring him. But I can't imagine that that's the case, because he's still as good as he ever was, honestly. Really just fabulous. And
a few commissions here or there too, and they're amazing. So I know.
Just try to get him for OAX, Bill.
We had Bob Layton on it, and there's not. It's just not going to happen. I've
been going to comic shows for almost 40 years, and I have never met Paul Smith. It's weird.
Same here.
It's a great prelim by Bernie Wrightson from Frankenstein Alive! Some great images of the monster from what was his last work, right? Alive was his last.
Yeah, he didn't finish it.
Yeah.
The 4th issue was drawn by Kelly Jones.
Yep.
Fun little tidbit here. The Bernie Wrightson Frankenstein design from the illustrated book and from Alive is the inspiration for the Frankenstein in the upcoming Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie, which makes all the sense in the world. The trailer for that just came out, so kind of cool to see where that came from.
And again, because we're apparently the Venom people, some more Ron Lim. This is from the Avengers: The Vault. So it's more Venom. This is done by Ron Lim from the memorable sort of, it was a magazine size one shot, right?
Oversized, like a graphic novel.
Yeah.
A very memorable
trying to see if it has Captain America in it, so I can try to taunt Alberto. This is a Rags Morales cover from Turok Dinosaur Hunter. This is from the first run Valiant. So this is later in the run of Turok. This is issue 42, but from the first run Valiant, like relatively early Rags Morales.
This is a hairy piece. I love the Shadow, Chris Burnham's variant cover from the Batman the Shadow crossover series published by DC several years ago. This is from the Batman the Shadow, not the Shadow Batman series published by Dynamite, but both very good. And this cover is just a great demonstration of these two characters together.
And good work by Chris Burnham.
Yeah, well, Chris Burnham.
A couple of Dick Dillon pages, like a Mazo page from Justice League number 112, and a Mazo and the Atom down there at the bottom. And this is a really nice Batman and Deadman page from World's Finest 223, also by Dick Dillon. It's 1974. This is the prelim to the cover to Ms. Marvel number 17. This is by Dave Cockrum.
That issue features the first appearance of Mystique, not on the cover, but first appearance.
Who's to say that Ms. Marvel on the cover isn't just Mystique? I tell your friends.
You would never know.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a nice Ian Churchill page from Cable number 27. It's like a nice Gambit Cable page by Churchill. That's really nice drawing on this page. Good, like effective, kind of moody drawing. I like that, like sort of looming image of Cable in the background. And a nice Gambit. And, 1995, so, nice like mid-90s X-Men adjacent. Just got a few more. The Art Germ is a sketch cover. This is a Batman black and white number 1. Just a sketch of Catwoman on a blank cover. But Art Germ, the kind of the commissions and sketches is all you can get. All this finished work is digital, and that it's a really beautiful sketch cover.
And very, very finished as far as sketch covers go.
This is super cool. I have to imagine that this was a contest prize at some point. So this is the corner box art by Herb Trimpe to Kid Cole's Outlaw. And I believe this corner box art was used on about 10 issues or so.
Yeah, 10 to 15 somewhere in there.
I believe that it's credited here as issue 156, which makes you think that that's the first time it appears. But hand colored, probably by Trimpe, hard to say. And signed at the bottom. It's on the drawing is the mounted onto this black backing, and on the black backing it says, "Hi kids, best wishes from your friend Kid Colt," which is what makes me think this was a giveaway. But I love corner box art, and I think this is awesome.
It's cool that it's hand colored.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it could have been hand colored by just somebody in the Marvel bullpen. It's honestly impossible to know. Could have been Marie Severin, could have been any number of people. But either way, the drawing is by Trimpe, and it's cool. So another Catwoman illustration, this time by Gabriel Delotto, who I had the opportunity to meet at Como this year, which was nice. I'd never met him before. Very nice guy. And a super talented artist. The couple of Chris Samney drawings from his very first Battober. So Chris Samney's been doing Battober now for 8 years.
Yep.
So this is from 2017's Battober. It's a beautiful Batman and Robin, just exceptional. I mean, Samney's one of those artists who I'll buy a book that he's drawing just because he's drawing it. If I never read it, I don't care because I'm buying it for a drawing. Although I will read his new Batman comic at some point. And another one from that first Battober. This one is like a really beautiful Two-Face, like really well composed. Samney I think is one of our best compositional artists working now. I think he puts a lot of thought into how a page appears in black and white, and very much from that Alex Toth sort of Tim Sale school of graphic imagery.
And that one is the second drawing from that Battober, which makes it the second ever Battober drawing.
That's true.
Cool.
It is cool. Nice little Nick Fury by Steranko. A couple of Bruce Timm pieces. A great Catwoman portrait. Cool Bruce Timm Catwoman.
That like Darwin Cook, Jim Lee, early 2000s costume.
This is interesting. So this is a prelim to a Mary Jane piece. I don't know if he ever did a finish of this, but it's Mary Jane. If you can see there, she's wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt with like the classic Ditko Spider-Man pose that you can see Tim working out on the side here. But just like a great, piece of process work from a great artist. Just gonna get to a few more things and then we can wrap it up. I'm not gonna do this whole file, trust me. This is fantastic Harley Quinn by Enrico Marini. This is how she appeared in the Dark Charming.
Mm-hmm.
I got to meet Marini at Como this year too, also super nice. This is Juan Ferreira. This is from Green Arrow 32. This is, I believe, the second appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. Yep. So you got a nice Bane and Batman Who Laughs there, and Robin. Just really beautiful, sort of paint, kind of half painted, half pencils, half ink wash. Really beautiful drawing.
He's got such an interesting process. I love his art because the originals have some of the color on them, like this.
This is a cool splash page from the Transformers G.I. Joe series by Jay Lee. A nice big sound wave there. G.I. Joe. This is the cover to the Duke #1 Ashcan edition. It's like a New York Comic-Con exclusive edition, preview edition of the Duke #1. This is by Tom Riley,
who's the artist of the Duke series. And on the back, there's one of his social media Superman drawings of mullet Superman from the 90s. So really good finished little illustration of Superman, as well as some other doodles.
Bonus art is the best art. Let's see. This is cool. This is Tom Derenick, inked by Bill Sienkiewicz, which is really interesting. And Sienkiewicz brings a lot to his inks, and I think this is cool. It's got Detective Chimp on it, Zatanna, and Dr. Fate. It's cool. Let's see. It's a page from Cable #1. This is Art T. Bear from Cable #1. That's a nice Cable page. I got a couple of Alan Moore, America's Best Comics pages, Tom Strong by Chris Sprouse, and a really nice Tomorrow Stories page by Dame Darcy. Really fabulous. I like that Alan Moore gave, exposure to artists who maybe wouldn't be drawing a DC comic. Great Thanos illustration by David Mack.
This is a complete story from the Joker Presents a Puzzle Box series. This is actually the first of the stories that make up the series. It was originally published as 10 or 12 page digital first stories, and then reprinted as 2 or 3 per issue in print issues. So this is the first digital chapter. Pencils and ink by Jesus Marino. Just really good drawing. I won't go through all 10 of them, but check it out on the website. All the images are there. It's really good.
I got a few more here. So now we're into our Tom King Batman, no?
Post-Tom King.
Post-Tom King.
James Tynan.
The next one's Tom King.
Also not Tom King.
Oh my God.
GN March from Batman '93. This is the second or third full appearance of Punchline here fighting.
This was from '64. He was still writing.
Joshua Williamson wrote that fill-in story.
I got to read more comics.
So this is an early appearance of Punchline here fighting.
I really hope Tom King's not watching. This is cool. This is a double page spread. We've got Batman and a giant Wonder Woman. This is a great. Jan March is really fantastic. He's the guy who really come on the scene strong.
And he's been in the game for a while. I've been reading his comics for about 15 years at this point.
But really,
he's just sort of exploded in the last 5 years and has been everywhere and doing a really great job.
Mm-hmm. This is an Archie page, but it's a cool Archie page. This is from Archie Meets Punisher. This is one of the pages, obviously, without Punisher on it, but this is Stan Goldberg, inked by Tom Palmer. Palmer inked so the Archie pages are drawn by Stan Goldberg. The Punisher's pages are drawn by John Buscema. And then all of them are inked by Palmer. But pages from that book are just incredibly uncommon.
And what you never see are pages entirely by Goldberg. It appears that Goldberg did not really part with many of them. So the pages that you see are either all Buscema or part Buscema. Mm-hmm. The fully Goldberg pages like this one are very, very hard to find.
It's another great page, but this is Kurt Swan from the Superman Aurora model kit comic. This is the comic that came with your Superman Aurora model kit. But it's a nice Superman page, a great but last panel of him kind of pulling open his chest, his shirt. It's a classic Swan Superman. And yes, this Swan Giacoya is really nice. This one needs to be opened because this page is great. This is Rudy Flores, and it's fantastic. So you got Korak and a shark.
And guess what year this came out? Right around Jaws.
Yeah, this is 1975.
That's not written by Tom King. I know that.
I think it might be. I think Bob Kanigher is him, and it was written by.
That's a cool page, though.
I don't know if Tom King was alive when his comic came out.
I may have just been born.
I don't know if he's older than I am, and I was 2. I was one when that came out. Cool. This is the Prowler page by Bill Reynolds. I think this is a great splash page for the Prowler. I think
The splash page to issue 2, I believe, featured Prowler confronting the knockoff Prowler who's very violent, unlike the regular Prowler who's only kind of violent.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful splash. This is, to the best of my knowledge, the very first page of Ashley Wood art that was published in America. This was published in a Dark Horse book called Dark Horse Down Under in 1994. And I couldn't find a single credit for Ash in America older than this. So I think this is his first piece of published comic book art, and I think that's super cool. And yeah, his artist changed a lot, but it's nice to know where people started. I think this is cool. And lastly,
This has to be opened as well.
I think this piece is exceptional. So this is a double page spread from the Tiny Toons Adventures magazine.
This was a pull-out poster that was included as the centerfold.
So this is by the great Bill Ray. Bill Ray has done a lot of things over the years. He's been working in comics since the mid-'70s. But really, this is, what year is this? This is 1994, so 1997. So Bill Ray famously did almost all of the background painting for the Ren and Stimpy show. And that's kind of the Bill Ray that I see in this drawing, that funny kind of cartoony.
That guy down here at the bottom made my favorite thing about it. Very, very Ren and Stimpy. Just excellent cartooning and very reverent to the sort of Looney Tunes inspirations behind the Tiny Toons magazine, but also very, very Bill Ray.
Super Bill Ray, and he's if you go look at the Hellboy Jr. comics that he did, some stuff he's done some stuff on his own here and there. He's mostly become a fine artist in the past 15 years or so, and if you look up that he goes by William Ray as a painter, but his paintings are fantastic, not funny necessarily, but just really good painting, and super nice guy, and I just think this is fabulous. I think it's just great drawing. He's a great cartooning, I should say. It's expert cartooning.
And big. It's slightly oversized and two boards.
And a great art collector too. His collection is spectacular.
I agree. I'd love to do an interview with him someday because he does have one hell of a collection.
Have you asked? He's not a
No, I've actually never. I've always meant to reach out to him. I just haven't. I mean, because he's in all the Facebook groups.
He's active. He's active on Facebook in the art.
Yeah,
he's around.
It's just I should just do it. I've been thinking about it for like 3 years now, and I've never reached out to him.
He hasn't been to San Diego since before COVID.
Right.
Mostly because Ashley Wood hasn't been to San Diego since before COVID, and they kind of drive down together. They're good friends. So if Ash ever comes back to San Diego, I'm sure Bill will be back. But I haven't seen Ash since before COVID. I haven't seen Ashley Wood in 6 years. That bastard has got to get on. It's a long flight. He lives on the ass end of Australia, so it's like not even like the close to America side, like all the way on the other side. So even to California, it's probably a 22 hour flight for him. That's a lot.
It is, and shipping to Australia is not cheap, so it's not a cheap flight, I'm sure either.
No, I'm sure it isn't. But I think he's doing okay for himself. I think he can swing it. But for every year I hear, he's like, oh, this year for sure, and then it's like, no, he's not coming. But I just want to see. I just like to say hello. Again, I haven't seen Ash since before I worked here, and it's been a minute. But anyway, I think that's enough for today. There's a lot more. It's all on the website. Yeah, you all know how this works. Yeah, go to the website. It's still, everything ends on Thursday night, starting at 6 o'clock Eastern, and I'm excited to see how some of these things end up doing. I think there's some cool stuff here, and I think some really great pieces that aren't going to be like break the bank pieces. I mean, just because art is inexpensive doesn't mean it's not great.
Yeah, I worked my way over to page 3 on the. I set it to 100, and I'm on page 3 right now. There's a lot of great pieces throughout.
Yeah.
This, so.
And there's this idea that art's getting too expensive now. It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it is, but it's art, and we should never forget that art should be appreciated, and with appreciation comes value. But not everything can be expensive. Not everything will ever be expensive. And value doesn't equal quality. Quality doesn't equal value. There's all sorts of, if you want the best examples by the best artists, yeah, you're going to have to pay for that. But there's lots of things that are available that will bring just as much pleasure that you don't have to mortgage your house to buy. And I think there's and even though time appreciates, these things all appreciate, and you don't want to skip something now that you may wish. It's like a couple years from now you might be like, I wish I'd gone after that harder. The regrets are the things you don't buy. Nobody regrets the things they do buy. They regret the things they don't. And I think there's some great stuff. I think there's some great pieces here for whatever era or time period, whatever company or generationally, whatever it is that you're interested in. I think it's a good representation of comics from, at the very least, from the early 60s through the present. I don't think we've ever had a better selection of work from the last 5-10 years than we have in this auction.
Yeah, a lot of pieces that, I remember buying comics off the rack, which means something very different than if Micah remembers buying those comics off the rack. But just good pieces that I'm excited about from all eras. Like Micah said, it's a really great range of pieces, and check it out. There's a lot of great stuff that we didn't talk about. There's a pile I'm looking at over to the side of stuff that we pulled out because we really wanted to talk about it that we just did not have time for. So do yourself a favor and go check out all of the pieces in the auction. You might just find something that you love.
Mm-hmm. But if money is no object and you really want to, we do have this cover to Avengers 83.
That has not been on the market before.
Which has never been on the market before, and it's kind of awesome. Or again, this incredibly reasonable, like right now, the price that this is at is almost embarrassing. For what it is, it's exceptional. And I wanted to keep it here on display so you can get a sense of how big it is. They display amazing.
I don't think we held it up too close before, but it's quite large and would look great on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So Monday, geez.
3 characters. Remember that.
3 characters
on that one.
Yeah.
We should remind everybody that if they are going to Heroes and they win any of
Yeah.
these lots, that you can get free shipping if
Let's
you pay for the piece before Heroes.
Yeah, if you're going to Heroes or San Diego or whatever, and you want to just have it delivered in person, no problem.
Heroes is easier because we are driving.
True.
So we can bring any size piece, any amount of stuff.
But also, San Diego's also fun. You can buy something and then pay for it by consigning art to the next auction. Encouraged. I encourage that. It's great. A lot of the more expensive pieces have time payments available. It generally says in the listing if that's the case. If it doesn't, and if it doesn't say it on the piece that you're interested in, please reach out to me. There's, generally speaking, we can arrange for time payments on most pieces. And I know that matters. And yeah, no, I mean, I hope everybody either checks out the auction if they haven't already, or, you know, wins something that they love. That's why we do this.
And Thursday, we said it earlier.
Thursday.
It's
6 o'clock
unusual,
Eastern.
But yeah, Thursday, 6 o'clock Eastern.
Earlier than usual.
ComicConnect.com.
Mm-hmm. And how?
Well, I did send out a mailing for you too today, just to remind everybody about the auction.
Thank you very
being
much.
Thursday.
Bill.
So trying to do our part there, and I have my assignment. I will try to read All Star Superman before I see you both at Heroes, so I can weigh in on the top 3 Superman story.
We're gonna see Bill next week.
Probably by Thursday. I'll read. I won't have too many points of reference, but I did. You know, I've read Crisis, so I mean, I've
No, like Heroes welcome party this year, right?
No, we do need to correct that. We you know, Heroes is our home away from home.
Well, let me. If are you going to be up Thursday?
I am. Yeah, a lot of us are going to be there. Kazra will be there. Chris Snorr. There's a lot of collectors that are going to be on Thursday.
If you're hanging around somewhere Thursday night, let me know.
I will.
You have my phone number.
I do. All right, man. Well, listen, you know, this is always fun, and we're going to get to hang out in person next weekend, so it'll, you know, that'll be even better. But
Harry's
right, everybody's going to get to meet Harry for the first time.
Harry and Heroes is a fun show. It's one of the more fun shows.
That's what I've heard.
It's no OAX.
To go.
It's not OAX, but it, you
Yeah,
know,
hopefully
again,
next year. Hopefully next year Harry will be at OAX as well.
good.
Honestly, we can use the extra hands. My only real criticism of OAX is that the show is so busy that I never get to see everything. So with,
well, there is a preview night now. You do know that, right? We're going to do a preview on Friday evening for VIP ticket holders. There will be
before or after the party.
It is before. I forget. I wish I had the schedule in front of me, but it'll be like, I think it's 5 to 7. I'm probably misspeaking there, but it is before the reception. That'll be after.
You're going to make us do more work and actually do a full setup on Friday.
Well, but just think about it. You'll get a lot of work done on Friday. It might make Saturday or Sunday a little bit easier for you. And I'll tell you, that's what all the collectors have been like demanding, a little extra for the, for their VIP. And I mean, we've thought about it. It's just 2 days is tough. Two 7-hour days is difficult, right? So it's either we either had to
4 to 6.
Oh, 4 to 6. Thank you, Kaz. I knew it was earlier, but I knew the reception didn't seem to be right to start at 7. 4 to 6. But yeah, at the end of the day, 14 hours on the floor.
We got something else to be.
Well, we didn't. We have, we've got our Saturday, evening event. So adding time to Saturday and Sunday isn't really what we want to do either.
Just make sure that Jason gets the drink tickets again, because I support that decision.
Right. Well, trust me, Harry. You go to that show, you'll feel like it's the best show in the U.S. I guarantee you.
I have heard only good things. I regret that I wasn't able to attend this past January, but I look forward to being able to hopefully attend next year
in February.
End of February, exactly. And Micah needs to be able to walk around, so he needs some extra help in the booth.
I mean, hey, I'm not there to shop for myself.
Yes, exactly.
I bought something at OAX last year. I didn't even go. Micah picked it up for me and wheeled it back to New York. So
I bought something at OAX this year too, and even though I didn't even barely walk around. So, it's all good.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well,
so anyway, thanks everybody.
We're both on Thursday then next week, and I'm sure we'll be able to meet up, because we'll be probably someplace pretty close to the Westin, I'm sure.
Yeah, usually there's a few. It depends. I think last year the hotel at the bar at the Westin was under renovation.
It was under construction. That was a mess last year. It better not be like that this year. I was very disappointed. I'm sure a lot of people were. We're a resourceful bunch.
Exactly. You can't get a bunch of comic book people or comic art people, especially at a convention. They'll find the bar.
Indeed, we will. All right. Well, so again, auction ends on Thursday. Starts at 6 p.m. Don't forget that, everybody.
2 days from today.
Exactly.
In half an hour, it'll be tomorrow. But yeah, thanks everybody for sticking around and watching. And yeah, I wish everybody the best of luck on anything that they're going after on Thursday. And any questions, you know, my email's on the screen. Our phone number is on our website. I'll be in the office during the auction.
Yeah, we both will be until the close of the auction on Thursday. So if you got any questions, you need any help, we'll be here to answer those questions.
Also, we will have probably the largest assortment of art we've ever had at a show at Heroes next week. We're gonna have a lot of stuff that people haven't seen before.
A lot of stuff that isn't on the website.
A lot of stuff that isn't on the website. It'll be a lot of good stuff. A lot of we just got a large batch of stuff of work from Carlos Pacheco we're getting that directly from his family that we're selling for.
I saw you posted about that on Facebook.
So we'll have that. And it's an honor to represent that stuff. Pacheco was a real talent. And again, it's a bummer. Comics will break your heart. Kirby was right.
That is true.
On that cheery note.
Yes, exactly. All right.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Always a pleasure to hang out with you both. And, you know, as soon as you know the dates for the next one, we'll book it, right? We'll get it up on schedule.
Like the second week of September, probably third week of September for the auction end. Yep. I will let you know as soon as I know.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
Yep. Have a wonderful evening. We'll be back at it tomorrow night with Essential Sequential will be joining me. And believe it or not, we'll have some Greg Capullo Wolverine art I think will be on display. So it should be fun. But yeah.
That reminds me, I have to send Jason an email. Gotta do that tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So thanks again. And we will see everybody tomorrow, I'm sure. Have a good night, everybody.